Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning for this morning mindfulness practice. I thought that today we would continue to practice with the metaphor of puppy training that I introduced earlier this week. Without making too much of the comparison, we can think of practicing mindfulness as a bit like training a puppy. We're training the mind to rest in being mode. But we find often that when we take time to just be, the natural momentum of the mind draws us back into thinking and doing of various sorts. When we train a puppy, I'm told, we use firm, patient, and kind repetition. And we can do the same with the mind. When it wanders, gets drawn into thinking, planning, judging, firmly, patiently, and kindly, we can bring it back to wherever we're resting the attention in that moment, whether it's with the breath or the hands or the feet or the whole body, sounds or everything in our awareness, or something else. So choosing your posture, sitting or standing or lying down, something that feels awake and dignified and also relaxed. And knowing that each time you bring the mind back, you strengthen the muscle of awareness. You make it that bit easier to do the same next time. So there's a virtuous circle here, a kind of snowball effect in a positive direction. So making yourself comfortable, eyes open or closed, both are okay. Whatever feels more supportive for you right now. And let's begin with an awareness of the whole body. The felt experience of the sensations of the body. Including the points of contact, at the surfaces and also deep inside. Allowing the whole body to manifest in your awareness as best you can. And acknowledging the sounds around you too, however loud or quiet they may be. Listening to the silence too, if that is what is here. Noticing how sounds make clear to us the extent of our awareness. the vastness of the field of awareness. We hear sounds from all directions, near and far away. And acknowledging also any emotion that is here, any thoughts, without having to dive into the content of the thought, just noticing the busyness of the mind. It may be busy at the moment, it may not. Allowing the awareness to take in the fullness of this moment, all the dimensions of it in body and emotion and thought and sound and everything else. Knowing that there's nothing you need to do with this. No particular stance you need to take or experience you need to have. Just being in it and letting it be what it is right now. And then choosing a sensation of the body. Perhaps one that you don't so regularly turn to. Breath, hands and feet are often suggested. Perhaps one of those that isn't always the first one you turn to. But knowing that if you have a strong inclination, you can always listen to that, including if it's to rest the attention where you are accustomed to resting it. Without making too much of the choice, just choosing a sensation, an area of the body. Shining the spotlight of attention here. Without having to clear anything from what surrounds the spotlight, from the background of awareness. Letting that be just where it is and turning the spotlight to your chosen sensation. Moving up close, zooming in if you like, to the direct experience of this one place. However strong or subtle sensation is here, it may be entirely absent right now, and in that case just registering a blank. The spotlight of attention will wander off from wherever we have chosen to shine it. And that's just what the mind does. There's no surprise here. So when we notice this wandering, we have the opportunity to strengthen the muscle of awareness by firmly, patiently and kindly turning the spotlight back to where we've chosen to focus for now. just for this moment, shining the light of awareness here. And then this moment, just this. Just this. Anchoring the mind in this one place, in this moment. And as best you can, releasing any tension in the background, letting the muscles of the body be at ease, so that concentrating in this one place doesn't involve a tightness or a constriction, but just a gentle resting of the attention here. We can be fairly firm in bringing back the attention when it wanders, and then fairly gentle in resting it in this place. There's a balance here. Whatever the spotlight of attention wanders off to, when we notice this, we can just acknowledge it. Thought, emotion, another sensation of the body, a sound, just a brief acknowledgement without having to analyze, evaluate why the mind wandered, quite where it went. Those are just more thoughts. We can just say, thinking, and turn back to our chosen sensation for now. But knowing also that if something really challenging does arise, you always have the option to move or to turn towards it with your awareness and see how it is to let it in, or to explore how it is to just let it arise and see what it's like to keep the spotlight of attention in this one place that you had already chosen. There are always choices, whatever my guidance may be. There is your attention in this moment. Where is your mind? Just noticing that. If it's wandered off, acknowledging the thoughts, the emotion, the sensation, and letting that acknowledgement, that brief noting, be enough for now, as best you can. And turning back, knowing that as you do, the muscle of awareness grows stronger. The practice is not intended to keep the mind in one place forever. That's not realistic. The mind wanders. The intention of this practice is to realize that we can always bring the mind back, wherever it wanders to. And that this capacity to bring back the wandering mind is something we can train and deepen so that it becomes easier and easier to access. To just drop into being mode at any moment, whether we're in formal practice like this or just going about our day. So coming back once again now to the chosen focus sensation, whatever that is for you. Hands or feet or breath or anything else. And just seeing how it is here in this brand new moment. And then in your own time, expanding the spotlight, widening the beam to include the whole of the body once again. As if the awareness billows out from the chosen sensation, down the arms and legs, suffusing the body with awareness. The torso, neck and face and head. Billowing out. And it can be a little more challenging to maintain this wider awareness, knowing that you can steady yourself back with the chosen sensation at any point. And then from here, opening out again to the whole constellation of the body. Steadying and opening by turns, as often as you like. Steadying and then opening. Today's poem is called Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Rilke. We have no reason to harbour any mistrust against our world, for it is not against us. If it has terrors, they are our terrors. If it has abysses, these abysses belong to us. If there are dangers, we must try to love them. And only if we could arrange our lives in accordance with the principle that tells us that we must always trust in the difficult, then what now appears to us to be alien will become our most intimate and trusted experience. How could we forget those ancient myths that stand at the beginning of all races? The myths of dragons that at the last moment are transformed into princesses. Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are only princesses waiting for us to act, just once, with beauty and courage. Perhaps everything that frightens us is, in its deepest essence, something helpless that wants our love. So you must not be frightened if a sadness rises before you, larger than any you've ever seen. If an anxiety like light and cloud shadows over your hands and everything that you do. Life has not forgotten you. It holds you in its hands and will not let you fall. Why do you want to shut out of your life any uneasiness, any miseries, or any depressions? For after all, you do not know what work these conditions are doing inside you. So perhaps noticing again what happens in the mind after a practice, after a poem. Is there a rush to understand it all, hold on to it all, rationalize with it, or can we just let it drop in, however it is? And likewise with the practice we just did. Sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's like that. I mentioned earlier this week and on Friday that this would be the last week of these morning sessions for now. I've been reflecting and considering my timetable, and I've changed that decision. I think I can continue to be here each morning, and I'm very happy to be. So I will carry on next week, and we'll take it one week at a time, but I'm happy to have seen that new path, which I hadn't seen before. So I wish you a good day. I'll be back tomorrow at the same time for some mindful movement. Thank you very much for joining me. Take care.